Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the NBA Picks Show on the LineStar YouTube channel. Alongside Tyler Wiemann, I'm Shannon Sommerville, and we've got your top NBA picks for today. As always, available on the Underdog app. If you don't have Underdog, download it today. Use that promo code LineStar so you can get a nice deposit match plus one free month of the LineStar app, which is what we're using to help us out in picking our NBA picks for today. I don't want to talk about last night, Tyler, but why don't you go ahead?
I mean, we got to a little, right?
Back in the pit of misery for me today. Unfortunately, our extender picks did not cash yesterday. The Mitchell Robinson lower did cash. However, TJ McConnell did not get there. And then for our ladder, Andrew Nembhard was the one that did not get there for us. But you know what? Today's a new day. And I just don't want to talk about that game anymore.
Hey, you are 5-point favorites for the next one.
Oh gosh, I'm still not feeling great about this, Tyler. As I was watching, I actually had to turn away because I felt myself becoming like, it was like every time I watch the Knicks, I feel like I become the Incredible Hulk. Like my blood pressure goes up. I'm like yelling at the TV. It's
what the Oura ring said.
Turning me into a different person. And I'm like, you know what? I just got to calm down. I got it. This is just a game. You know what? I'm getting mad at the officiating and all the things. So we just got to dial it back a bit. Just try to center ourselves. Maybe take a yoga class or something. But these games are doing nothing for my blood pressure. I'll just put it that way. And nonetheless, the Knicks played awful last night. Pacers did go off. But today, a new game awaits. We're talking about Game 5 and OKC. Can they close things out against the Minnesota Timberwolves? This game is in OKC for today. So what we're going to do is give you two picks that we're going to use the extender bonus on Underdog right now. It's a great promo that they have going on. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. So take advantage of that extender boost for yourself. Just a nice juicy payout for yourselves. Hopefully we can go 2 for 2 in our picks, and then we'll have a randomly selected commenter win $20. So to enter into our extender contest here, just like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. You're in it to win it. If we go 2 for 2, one randomly selected commenter wins $20. It is that easy. And then we'll also get into our ladders plays, which are a fun game. Really have enjoyed our ladders picks, although that 25x in this round has been eluding us. Got to get there. So we're going to try to max out the payout on our ladders entry. So make sure to check that out on Underdog as well. It's located, if you go in the app on your phone, it's through the originals tab at the bottom. Just click originals and then click on featured games and then ladders, and it'll take you right to where you can create your ladders lineup. All right, let's get to it. Our picks for today. We are also using the Props Optimizer, which is a new tool from the makers of LineStar. And it's a great tool that can help you out in the player pick'em department. We have a tab specifically for Underdog, so you can see and sort by what our projections are saying compared to what Underdog is offering. So it's a really great tool that'll help you out. And again, it's totally free wherever you get your apps. Let's dive into tonight's contest, and we're going to start things off with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, higher than 9.5 points. LineStar's projection here is 15 points for Na. He's averaging just under 9 points per game in the playoffs, and he has been higher than that 9.5 mark in 3 of 4 games versus OKC. He had 8 in the first game, 17, 12, and then 23. So he did put up a nice number last game. He's been much more aggressive. He's playing against his cousin SGA. We're seeing the competitive fire in him, and he's been much more aggressive. And as a result, I think, of kind of having the hot hand, he's also seeing a bit more minutes. So I'm comfortable going here. How about you?
Cousin on cousin crime. It's must watch TV, I guess. But yeah, he's, our biggest edge today on the site is going to Na. Like you said, he's been aggressive, and I think this is a game where they really need scoring. I think it's also interesting that Mike Conley's minutes are going down while Na's are going up. With that aggression, the needing to score, I think he sees minutes again, and 9.5 is just low for what he can do.
On the flip side of things, OKC, we're going Isaiah Hartenstein lower than 8.5 points and assists. LineStar is liking the lower here. He's only averaging just over 8.2 last 5. Tyler, what's your read on Hartenstein and his points and assists line here?
Yeah, his minutes are trending down. He's only playing 19 a game over the last 5. He only played 16 last time out. And it really just makes way more sense for OKC to pull him off the court. Rudy Gobert isn't an offensive threat. And so Chet at the 5 allows them to put Jalen Williams on Julius, and then they have a slew of guys they can throw at Ant to slow Ant down. And I think Julius or Jalen being on Julius is a very bad matchup for Minnesota, and it just makes total sense for them to continue with this strategy. And Hartenstein's not a great scorer, not a great passer. So I think going 9+ in 20 or less minutes is going to be very hard for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a beast on the boards, but in terms of points and assists, not really known for putting up a tremendous amount of stuffing those stat sheets there in that points and assist column. But I like our entry for today. We're going Nah and Hartenstein lower. If you'd like to tell us again on Underdog using that extender bonus, make sure to take advantage of that so you can get a nice higher payout for each game of the series. The boost gets bigger and bigger, so it's an awesome promo right now on Underdog. All right, next up, let's go to our ladders lineup for today, and it's a bit of a tough game to kind of choose which players are going to go off. And Tyler, you and I were talking before the show, and I was kind of like, you know what, I think the games that have lent themselves to the ladders is kind of that Pacers Knicks game with the Pacers specifically, just playing at a really high pace. And for this game, it's a bit tougher. You kind of have to think about what scenario you're rolling with. Are you going for the OKC win? Are you going for maybe the Minnesota Timberwolves to come back? What's your assessment of our overall strategy for our ladders lineup?
Overall, I think we're going OKC win here, but really, I think this game likely is a little bit competitive, but OKC pulls it out in the end. Unfortunately, I think this one's going to be over after 5, as well as maybe the next series or the other series going on. Sorry to say.
I'm kind of with you on that one. The way we've looked last night, for sure. Although, you never know. We still got life. There's hope, but not too much of it.
You need some more zesty cat.
Yeah, we definitely need that for sure. In fact, I think that's kind of like what you and I have talked about this on the show, that they should have just been feeding Cat the whole time. Yeah. Nonetheless, for our ladders lineup in this OKC Minnesota Timberwolves game, let's start things out with a player that we just took for our extender bonus, and that's Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 7-10-17. So again, with this ladders, we need all 3 players that we're going to put on the lineup to surpass that third rung of the ladder to get the 25x payout. The second rung of the ladder is a 3x payout. The first rung, we're just essentially getting our money back with that one. So we're going Nickeil Alexander-Walker. His projection, again, from LineStar is 15 points, so that clears the second ladder for us, and he's shown that he can surpass that third rung like he did last game with 23 points. I'm comfortable going here. Like you said at the top of the show when we were talking about our extender picks, cousin on cousin crime here. He knows how to score, and he's been very aggressive against his cousin.
Yeah, he's been fired up for sure, and I think we're just going to continue to see less Mike Conley. I mean, all year long, they barely had him on the court. Kind of surprising that they were throwing him out so much at the beginning of the playoffs, and they're going back to that strategy of eliminating him. And I think if they're down at all, they'll pull the string on Conley a little bit quicker and give the other guys, Dante and Nah, extra run. These guys just need to get aggressive and get it done.
All right, so next up, let's just make this ladders lineup a family tree here. We're going Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for our next pick. 29, 34, and 44 are the numbers he needs to reach. LineStar's projection is just 29, but the consensus at 34. And SGA is averaging 29.5 in the playoffs. He reached 31, 38, 14, and he did put up 40 the last game. So what do you see for SGA here tonight?
Well, pretty much all series except for the one blowout, he's a lock for 30+. So I think that's once again in the cards here. So that's great from at least the 3x standpoint. Getting up to that 25x, 44 points is a tall task, obviously, but at least that's really when we see stars come out are in these games that can make them go to the finals. And I think this is one that SGA is going to show up in, and he needs to.
All right, and lastly, rounding off our lineup, Chet Holmgren, who needs to reach 13 for the first round, 16 points for the second, and 23 for that max payout. LineStar's projection for Chet tonight is 17 points. He's averaging just over 16 points per game in the playoffs. And versus Minnesota in this series, he's gotten 15, 22, 10, and 21. So he's just been shy of that final rung. He could get there tonight, though, right, Tyler?
Yeah, with Isaiah Hartenstein off the court, he sees 1% more usage, and he's more aggressive. He's getting more field goal attempts, and I think that's just the path of him. He is better with Hartenstein off of the court than on the court. What we've seen is the trend of them not using much Hartenstein, and it makes total sense. So I think we just double down on that.
All right, so the lineup that we are rolling with is going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Chet Holmgren and SGA for our lineup. There could be an argument to be had for maybe going the other direction, maybe going with the Timberwolves player. Like maybe you think that Anthony Edwards has heard all the criticism, has heard Shaq talking about how he shouldn't be the face of the NBA and that ESPN should stop promoting that, and maybe he comes out and has a game. But for me, Tyler, based on what I've seen and how OKC has done so well against him defensively, I just can't justify it. What about you?
Yeah, this is another thing we talked about a little pregame, and I think how it breaks down, I think it's incredibly hard to stop him. You're realistically not able to stop him, but OKC has so many guys that they can throw at him that they can slow him down enough that this 37 plus 25x rung, I think is kind of off the table. I think it's extremely doubtful he's able to do that. And because of that, for this ladders game, I can't really go there. I need to believe that the guy is going to be able to get 25x and being able to throw Dort, Caruso, Wallace, all at Edwards. So you're essentially always able to keep a fresh body on him. I think it's going to be very hard when they're all three are very solid defenders.
The one variable that I'm going to throw into the mix here, we've seen some wildly inconsistent refereeing. I don't know if you've watched it all, but, as someone who has watched, it's been a little inconsistent. In fact, Anthony Edwards' coach has said, basically insinuated that Anthony Edwards was not getting calls. Sometimes that stuff has an effect on, squeaky wheel gets the grease sort of thing in terms of maybe getting a little bit more favorable of a whistle the next time out. I mean, ultimately, I can't, foresee what the refereeing style is going to be. And I'm curious from you guys how you have watched, those of you that have watched these playoff series, what have you thought about the refereeing? Because in my opinion, a little inconsistent across the board. Not like it's favoring one team or the other, just inconsistent throughout the game. I think sometimes it throws off the pace a little bit. Any thoughts from you, Tyler, on that?
I mean, there's always
we say this every year. Yeah. Like this isn't new, but it's just something.
And I mean, you're right. Squeaky wheel usually does get the grease, but I just don't think that it's like he's going to get to the line 20 times,
right.
And I think that's really what he needs to happen if he wants to go 37 plus.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more likely in this scenario that they're just going to let him play a little bit more and not really, let the refs dictate too much of the outcome in this one. Although I say that and who knows what'll happen, but thought it was worth bringing up. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. And if you've got any locks for us, please drop them below. We're all trying to help each other out and beat the books on this Wednesday. So good luck in all of your pick'em endeavors. Again, download Underdog, use that promo code LineStar. Good luck. We'll see you guys next time.